Hello, it's Adonis Turner of Adonis Power and Conditioning, and I'm going to show you a quick video of how you guys can build muscle if you're looking to build muscle for size, strength, depending on your sport. Building muscle is very, very important, and also you can increase your metabolism as you build muscle over time. So I'm going to show you some quick pointers that you can take with you to employ in your workout regimen. So first, as I said with the weight loss video, you have to know your metabolism. If your metabolism is a little bit higher, you still have to be over it to build muscle. I recommend 300 to 500 calories per day over your maintenance because the only way to gain muscle is to gain weight in effect. So ideal process, depending on your sport, is figuring out how much body fat you should carry associated with your sport, lose weight or gain weight to that body fat. Well, if you were less than the body fat associated, like if you were 200 pounds and 10% body fat and you needed to be heavier because you're an offensive lineman, so you need to be closer to 35% or 40%, you just need to focus on gaining weight, period. But if you were a sprint athlete or wanted to become a sprint athlete, what you want to do is you want to start, if let's say you were a little bit over the body fat range and you wanted to still gain muscle, I would focus on losing weight first, dropping down to the percentage, and then gaining muscle mass, so that way you're used to having a high muscle mass at that low body fat, which is pretty difficult to achieve. So you want to have your body be used to that low body fat. So just like I just mentioned, you want to be at a surplus. So let's say your maintenance is 3,500. You want to be anywhere from 3,800 to 4,000 per day. That way you are not too high over your maintenance, but you're also still building muscle in the process. A lot of people try to put on muscle fast. You can't rush your human body. You have to go as far as your genetics will take you, especially naturally, because you're lucky to build a pound of muscle per month. So if you think during this process, if you're building muscle, that you can build 20 pounds in 4 months, that someone told me they put on 20 pounds of muscle in 4 months. It's unlikely that you did that, and it's impossible. The most you probably put on in 4 months is probably 4 pounds, maybe as much as 6 pounds of legit pure muscle. There are people that have done up to 20 pounds in a year. That's the best I've heard, where it's just legit muscle. But just because you gain weight during this process doesn't mean it's all muscle, and that's something to always be self-aware about. Just because you're getting bigger doesn't mean it's all muscle, and I know I keep saying that, but you have to minimize your fat gain as you gain muscle. Protein intake. You want to do around 0.8 grams a pound per body weight to gain muscle, and in conjunction with a caloric surplus of 300 to 500 calories per day. This will help you also retain a good metabolism, and that way you won't gain just fat in this process. Now, when you do this, you're going to want to do this similar to the weight loss. You're going to want to do this slow, except with weight loss, you want to do it slow to retain as much of your metabolism as possible. But in this situation, you want to do it slow so you can minimize how much fat you gain during this process. So I usually tell my clients, if they're trying to gain muscle, 300 calories surplus. That way they're only gaining in total a pound a week, or half a pound a week, excuse me. And that way they're not just gaining over time 20 pounds of body fat and 10 pounds of muscle. We want to minimize the amount of fat we're gaining. That way we can have a better and superior body composition than we did before, because the whole point of gaining muscle is not to gain a bunch of fat. That defeats the purpose. Workouts, weight training, there's other training you can do with it, but I'm going to mainly suggest weight training if you're solely trying to build muscle. So you can't build muscle by walking, rowing, or anything of that nature. You can build muscle by weight training and various other body weight exercises. But for body weight exercises, you'll reach a point, unless you keep getting heavier, which is not necessarily healthy, You'll reach a point and then you'll need to do weight training. Like for instance, if you do push-ups, you'll see some results doing just push-ups, but you eventually have to transition into barbell movements, because with push-ups, you're really only pushing up maybe 50% of your actual body weight because of the distribution of your weight, but that's another video for another day. Progressive overload. The simple concept of progressive overload is every single week you're improving in something. And this can go across various weight training, cardio, sprinting protocols that you're just doing a little bit more each and every week. So for instance, for building muscle, the rep range, the amount of times you lift weight, you want to be between 6 to 12 reps, roughly. And there's different variables, but generally speaking, 6 to 12 reps. So if I'm doing squats and I can do 500 for 6 reps, the very next week, if I do 500 pounds again, I need to be doing that for at least 7, 8, or 9 reps. That way I can progress over time. Or you can keep the exact same amount of reps and exact same amount of weight, but you increase the amount of sets you're doing. Or you can keep the reps and increase the weight. So this is what that would look like. Let me just show you guys real quick. So if you squat, for instance, 500 pounds, and let's say we're at week 1 and you're doing 4 sets of 6. So 4 sets of 6. That's 500 pounds, 4 sets of 6. Let's say one way to improve this progressively over time is maybe a week or 2 you're hitting this weight again, you can increase the weight. So you increase it by 10 pounds, did the exact same thing, 4 sets of 6. That's one way that you can build muscle during this cycle. Another way would be to keep the weight and then increase the reps. So as you can see, you kept the weight as the first one, kept the weight, kept the sets, kept the reps. And this is all about total training volume, the amount of reps times weight times sets that you're doing. If that increases, you will physically get better and increase. Last example I'm gonna give you is keeping the weight and increasing the sets. So we'll say 5 sets. These are 3 ways you can build off of what you did. There's no reason, and no matter what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing the exact same thing every single week. That's where the body will naturally get complacent. It'll adapt to what you're doing, and you will see absolutely no progress doing the exact same thing every single week. There's other ways to increase the amount of effort you're exerting in each workout. For instance, if your rest time was 3 minutes here, you can do next week 2 minutes. There's so many different variables, but as long as you do one of them, you are going to progress physically and have a better body composition. That's it, guys. Know your metabolism, always the first thing, regardless of what you're trying to accomplish, so you know exactly the nutrition side of things, how much to eat, and then that way you know where you stand as far as how many calories you are able to intake per day. Having a caloric surplus, being 300 calories over maintenance over time, that way you can minimize fat gain and maximize muscle gain. Protein intake, you want to be 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, roughly. I'm not splitting hairs here, so roughly 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. That will allow you to maximize muscle gain as well as minimize fat gain, as long as your calories are where they need to be. And also weight training, progressive overload. Now, you don't need to necessarily change exercises over time, all the time. You need to get better in specific exercises so you know where you stand as far as that specific exercise. So you can't go from squats one week, leg extensions the other week, body weight squats without a barbell. It has to be consistent so you know exactly if you're improving or not. If you are improving, you are gaining muscle. There is no way you get stronger in this rep range protocol and not gain muscle. It's not gonna happen. So that's pretty much it, guys. Stay tuned for the next video, and this is the best way for you to build muscle, and also you'll get stronger as well. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. Peace.